The day I died was unremarkable in the grand scheme of things. I had been going about my usual routine when an unexpected accident abruptly ended my life. It happened so quickly that I barely had time to register what was happening. One moment, I was standing in the midst of chaos, and the next, I was surrounded by an otherworldly peace. There was no pain, no confusion, just a profound sense of being called toward something greater. I felt myself being drawn into a radiant light, a warmth so pure and overwhelming that I knew instantly it was the presence of God. Before me stood Jesus, his form glowing with a brilliance that words could never fully capture. His eyes were filled with compassion and love, but also a seriousness that told me this was no ordinary encounter. "Welcome, my child," he said, his voice a harmonious blend of authority and comfort. "You are here for a purpose. I have something to show you." Before I could speak, the space around us shifted, and I found myself standing on what felt like the edge of eternity, looking down at a vision of Earth. The world seemed vibrant, yet fragile, its beauty marred by the tensions and struggles of humanity. Jesus turned to me, his expression solemn. "There are 3 events coming before 2030 that you must know about. These events will reshape the world and test the hearts of all who live in it." The first vision unfolded like a vivid dream. I saw nations in turmoil, their governments crumbling under the weight of corruption and unrest. Natural disasters unlike anything the world had ever seen began to strike with terrifying frequency. Earthquakes that split cities apart, hurricanes that swallowed entire coastlines, and wildfires that raged unchecked, consuming everything in their path. It wasn't just the disasters themselves that were shocking, it was the aftermath. People were left scrambling for resources, and a deep divide grew between those who had access to the basics of survival and those who did not. Jesus spoke softly as I watched the chaos unfold. "This is a time of great shaking. The earth itself will groan under the weight of sin, and many will lose hope. But it is also a time for my people to rise, to be a light in the darkness. Those who trust in me will find refuge, even amidst the storm." I felt the weight of his words settle deep in my heart. The scene faded, leaving me with a profound sense of urgency. The second event was even more startling. The world's financial systems began to collapse, creating widespread panic and despair. I saw people lining up outside banks, only to discover that their life savings had vanished overnight. Currencies lost their value, and a new system of digital currency was introduced, controlled by a select few who held immense power. At first, it seemed like a solution to the chaos, but it quickly became clear that this new system was a tool of control. People were required to have a digital mark or identification to access basic necessities like food, water, and healthcare. Those who refused were cast out of society, unable to work or provide for their families. Jesus' voice broke through the vision, filled with sorrow. "This is the time of testing. Many will be deceived, believing that this system offers security. But it is a trap, designed to enslave the hearts and minds of my children. Do not fear, for I will provide for those who stand firm in their faith." I could feel his pain as he watched humanity teeter on the brink of spiritual and physical captivity. The third event was the most profound and filled me with both awe and dread. I saw a great spiritual awakening sweeping across the world, but it was accompanied by fierce persecution. People from every nation, tribe, and tongue were turning to Jesus, their hearts set ablaze by the truth of the gospel. Miracles unfolded before my eyes, healings, deliverances, and acts of divine intervention that defied explanation. Yet, as the light of Christ spread, so too did the forces of darkness rise to oppose it. Governments outlawed Christianity, churches were shut down, and believers were hunted and imprisoned. Families were torn apart, friendships severed, and lives sacrificed for the sake of the gospel. I turned to Jesus, overwhelmed by what I was witnessing. "Why must they suffer so much?" I asked, tears streaming down my face. He looked at me with a mixture of sorrow and resolve. "The enemy knows his time is short, and he will do everything in his power to destroy my people. But remember this, the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. Through their sacrifice, my kingdom will grow, and countless souls will be saved. The vision shifted again, and I saw a glimpse of the aftermath of these events. Though the world had been shaken to its core, there was a remnant of believers who stood firm, their faith unshaken by the trials they had endured. They were radiant, filled with a peace and strength that could only come from God. I saw them reaching out to those who were lost, offering hope and love in the midst of despair. The light of Christ shone brightly through them, and I understood that they were the answer to the darkness. Jesus turned to me one final time, his expression filled with love and urgency. The time is short and the harvest is great. Tell the world what you have seen. Warn them of what is coming, but also remind them of my promises. I am with them always, even to the end of the age. His words echoed in my soul as the light around us began to fade. I felt myself being pulled back into my body, the weight of the vision heavy on my heart. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by the concerned faces of my family and the sterile hum of hospital machines. I had been given a second chance, but I knew my life would never be the same. The visions of the three events, natural disasters, financial collapse, and spiritual awakening, were etched into my mind, and I knew it was my responsibility to share them with the world. The years ahead would be challenging, but they would also be filled with opportunities to draw closer to God and to stand firm in faith. Even now, as I navigate the complexities of daily life, I can feel the urgency of Jesus' message pressing on my heart. The time is short, and the choice is clear. Will we succumb to fear and deception, or will we trust in the promises of Christ and stand firm in the face of trials? The answer lies in each of us, and the time to decide is now.